In late 2024, unsettling reports began to emerge from Thailand. Women were disappearing. Young, healthy women, all sharing one chilling commonality. They had left the country seeking work, promised lucrative jobs overseas. However, as soon as they reached their destination, they disappeared completely. Their families received brief, cryptic messages. "I'm fine. Don't worry." After that, silence. Calls went unanswered, and social media accounts fell dormant. It was as if the women had simply ceased to exist. At first, the disappearances seemed random, but investigators soon noticed a pattern. Almost every missing woman was last seen in the same place, Georgia. Authorities initiated investigations, but were unable to take action without solid leads. These women were adults who had traveled willingly. There were no immediate signs of danger, no evidence suggesting foul play. Then everything changed. One woman escaped. She showed up at a police station in Georgia, begging for help. When officers asked where she had come from, her words sent chills down their spines. "There are more women. They won't let them leave. They take our eggs." Over and over again. Her story was terrifying, like something from a horror film. She had come to Georgia expecting to work as a surrogate mother, a chance to help families while earning enough to support her own. She had seen an advertisement on Facebook promising between 400,000 and 600,000 baht, around $11,000 to $17,000. She didn't have a passport, but the company covered the cost of it and her travel expenses. She believed she would live with a grateful, nurturing couple, people who wanted a child more than anything else in the world. August arrived, and it was time to begin. Another Thai woman, a guide, or so they thought, almost a friend, led her and about 10 other prospective surrogates to Georgia. But upon arrival, the dream quickly turned into a nightmare. From the moment she stepped into the facility, something felt terribly wrong. This wasn't the loving home she'd imagined. It wasn't even a hospital. The building was secluded, hidden away, difficult to find. Windows were covered, doors locked tight, and they soon realized they weren't alone. Inside, they held captive around 100 other women, mostly Thai, Vietnamese, and Cambodian. They had all received the same promise, but they were all prisoners. This was the true face of human trafficking. While held captive, their lives were tightly controlled, like victims of an abusive relationship. Passports were confiscated, and phones were monitored. Some tried to send texts to family, but authorities scrutinized every word. One misstep meant punishment. At first, the woman told police they received decent treatment, food, beds, and basic care. But soon, the procedures began. Every day they were given a series of injections. Many started feeling sick, suffering from nausea, bloating, and pain. Upon inquiring, they learned that it was an inherent aspect of the surrogacy procedure. Then came the extractions. The team took the women, one by one, into a room, sedated. Upon awakening, the women writhed in pain, feeling drained and exhausted, as if they had lost something vital. It happened again, and again, and again. Some had been there for months, losing track of how many times they had endured those endless procedures. An unending cycle of eggs being harvested. They weren't free to leave, but there was a way out, if they were desperate enough. They were given a choice: pay a ransom or stay forever. Some women had families who could send money. Others had nothing. No escape. The woman who escaped managed to raise 70,000 baht, around $2,000, to buy her freedom. Her courage raised the alarm. What she revealed was utterly insane. Her story was only the tip of a massive, horrifying conspiracy. When authorities raided the facility, they expected a small-scale operation. Instead, they uncovered something far worse. The facility held over 100 women as prisoners, subjecting them to a relentless medical cycle. Investigators scoured every room and found stacks of detailed medical records, names, dates, and evidence of dozens of procedures performed on each woman. The truth was undeniable. This affair was never about surrogacy. It was about harvesting human eggs. Over and over again. The women described daily hormone injections, stomach cramps, and swelling. Many endured constant pain but were told it was normal and would eventually pass. The longer they stayed, the more dangerous it became. Some developed serious complications, feeling as though their bodies were shutting down. The escaped woman was fortunate. her family could send the $2,000 ransom to secure her release. But those without access to such funds were locked away, trapped in this human egg farm with no hope of escape. Investigators discovered evidence of egg sales, yet no records traced their final destinations. Who bought them? Which clinics processed them? How many families had unknowingly used eggs harvested from trafficked women? The deeper authorities dug, the more disturbing the questions became. How long had this been going on? How many women had they used and discarded? And the most chilling question of all, who was behind this? The raid revealed a horrifying reality. This was not an isolated trafficking case. It was part of a much larger operation. The global demand for human eggs has skyrocketed. Fertility clinics, private buyers, and underground brokers are all willing to pay high prices for viable eggs. But legal egg donation is slow and expensive, with strict regulations, background checks, medical screenings, and mandatory waiting periods. For those unwilling to wait or willing to bypass the rules, there is another option: the black market. In countries with weak oversight, illegal egg harvesting thrives. Traffickers lure vulnerable women with promises of high-paying surrogacy jobs. Once inside, they control, manipulate, and force them into medical procedures they barely understand. The women at the Georgian facility were not merely victims of trafficking. They were a crucial part of an underground supply chain aimed at extracting and selling their eggs to the highest bidder. Investigators discovered evidence that private fertility clinics, some operating legally but unaware of their origin, received eggs. Others chose to ignore the situation. Egg trafficking rings can't operate alone. They need doctors to perform procedures, brokers to move the product, and clients willing to pay. People's desperation determines whether they ask questions. This case is horrifying, but it's far from unique. Researchers have uncovered similar operations in Cambodia, Russia, and other parts of Eastern Europe. In every case, the same terrifying truth emerges. For every facility shut down, others continue to operate, still harvesting, still exploiting trafficked women as mere commodities. Bank records traced payments moving through multiple countries, transactions linked to fertility brokers, private clinics, and offshore accounts. But where the eggs ultimately ended up was much harder to prove. Many traffickers fled before capture, and those arrested refused to cooperate. Could the fertility clinics be suspected of using these eggs? Many denied any involvement. Others simply vanished. For the women who were rescued, freedom came at a steep cost. Many now suffer long-term health issues, hormonal imbalances, reproductive damage. Some may never conceive again. Psychological scars run even deeper. Despite promises of a better life, they were treated like products, used, depleted, and discarded when no longer profitable. Some returned home. Others had nowhere to go. No money, no support, no justice. As for the traffickers, investigators believe a Chinese organized crime gang orchestrated the scheme, funneling stolen eggs through clinics. Could the families who received these eggs be unwittingly benefiting from this cruelty? They may never know the truth, and if they do, it's doubtful anyone will care. This was not the first operation like this, and it won't be the last. Even now, promises of surrogacy continue to lure women worldwide, trapping them in cycles of forced egg harvesting. The demand is too high, the money is too big. Using untraceable social media accounts and cryptocurrency payments, none of these transactions are easy to track. For every trafficking ring exposed, others continue to operate in the shadows, recruiting, harvesting more eggs, and destroying more lives. This situation exposes a dark side of the industry. But the real question remains, how many more victims are out there? And how many more will suffer in silence?